Ratcliffe just gave Ruben Amorim 3 years to get Manchester United right. But with the way this season has unfolded, the real question is, how many months does he actually have left? Because right now, that so-called 3-year plan feels less like a project and more like a countdown. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has gone on record, publicly promising Amorim 3 full seasons to rebuild Manchester United. That's not something you hear often at Old Trafford, a club that measures success in weeks, not years. But given how turbulent things have been since Amorim took over, that promise might be the only thing standing between belief and another rebuild. The form's been unpredictable, the patterns worrying. United haven't found rhythm. The performances swing from promising to painful. We've yet to see back-to-back league wins, and the club sits in the bottom half of the table. The criticism grows louder each week, and even inside the fan base, the question isn't whether Ratcliffe believes in Amorim, it's whether that belief can survive the Premier League. In this video, we're going deeper. We'll look at where Amorim's falling short, what Ratcliffe really sees in him, and how much time this project actually has before it cracks under pressure. The warning signs are piling up. Let's start with the obvious, the patterns that reveal Amorim's fragile grip on consistency. United haven't managed 2 league wins in a row under him. That kills momentum. It destroys confidence. Every good result feels like a false dawn, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and every defeat feels like a mini-crisis. Take the biggest losses, the Manchester Derby, for example. City didn't just win, they controlled everything. Afterwards, Amorim admitted, "It's my fault." And maybe it was, because the deeper problem isn't just losing, it's how United lose. This team has trailed first in 11 of 15 league games. That's not bad luck, that's structure. It means they're reactive, not proactive, always chasing, never dictating. When your entire game plan depends on recovering from mistakes, you're not a giant, you're a firefighter. And that brings us to Amorim's biggest challenge, stubbornness. He's said it before. If something has to change, it's the man. But at Manchester United, refusing to adapt isn't bravery, it's a slow-motion crash. His 3-4-3 shape, the one that made Sporting Lisbon so dynamic, can look like poetry when it works, but chaos when it doesn't. Premier League sides have already started exploiting it, pressing the wide center-backs, isolating the wing-backs, and forcing turnovers that United can't recover from quickly enough. The result? A system that looks elegant on paper, but leaks goals in reality. And here's the brutal stat. If every game ended at halftime, United would have just 10 points from 15 games. That's not a dip in form. That's a structural malfunction. It shows slow starts, weak setups, and a failure to adapt mid-match. It's the kind of trend that buries even the most ambitious projects. The psychology behind Ratcliffe's promise. Now let's talk about that promise because it's more strategic than sentimental. Ratcliffe isn't giving Amorim 3 years out of generosity. He's trying to end United's cycle of panic, the endless loop of sackings, rebuilds, and excuses. He's seen what constant turnover does to a club's DNA, and he's betting that a long runway, 3 full seasons, will finally give one manager the space to build an identity that lasts. He's even drawn parallels to Alex Ferguson's early years. Remember, Sir Alex United started slow too. Fans called for his head. Results were poor. But what saved him wasn't short-term success. It was the belief that a system, not a string of results, would define Manchester United's future. That's the story Ratcliffe wants to tell again. Trust the process. But the Premier League is not the 1980s, and this fan base has lived through too many processes to blindly believe in another one. Because let's be real, 3 years at Manchester United doesn't mean 3 years of patience. It means 3 years to prove you belong. It means transfer backing, structural support, access to elite talent, and 0 excuses. Ratcliffe's promise isn't a safety net, it's a stopwatch. And Amorim knows it's already ticking. So what does he have to change? everything that separates a coach with ideas from a manager who wins. First, control the start of matches. You can't keep conceding first and hope to climb the table. United need urgency from minute 1, not reaction from minute 45. Second, find consistency. One run of 4 or 5 unbeaten matches changes everything. It resets the atmosphere, lifts confidence, and gives players belief. Third, tighten transitions. United's biggest weakness isn't possession, it's what happens after they lose it. The midfield leaves gaps, the defense scrambles, and opponents exploit the spaces every single time. That has to end if Amorim wants stability. Fourth, adaptability. The best managers, Pep, Klopp, Ancelotti, all evolve. They tweak shape mid-match, shift tempo, adjust to opponents. Amorim's biggest flaw right now is his insistence on purity, football ideology without flexibility. At a club like Manchester United, you can't be a philosopher when results demand a pragmatist. And finally, utilize the squad. Depth means nothing if you don't use it. United's bench has enough talent to rotate effectively, to rest key players, to keep energy fresh. But when every week feels like the same 11 running on fumes, burnout becomes inevitable. So why is Ratcliffe still backing him? Because, for all the frustration, there is a vision beneath the chaos. You can see flashes of what Amorim wants: structured pressing, vertical transitions, overlapping wingbacks, football built on control and precision rather than chaos. It's not fully there yet, but the blueprint is visible. And Ratcliffe values that. He's seen what happens when a manager has no plan. United have lived that movie too many times. What Amorim offers is coherence. What he lacks is time. If he can turn those glimpses into a pattern, if performances start matching philosophy, Ratcliffe's promise might just hold. But the Premier League doesn't wait. Every poor result eats away at belief. Every defensive lapse becomes a headline. And every week without progress feels like another tick of that 3-year clock. The verdict? 3 years sounds like an eternity, but at Manchester United, it's a heartbeat. Ratcliffe's promise might buy Amorim time, but it doesn't guarantee patience. If he can deliver visible progress, even subtle, incremental improvements, he keeps control of the project. If not, that 3-year plan will fade into the same pile of slogans we've heard for a decade. So what do you think? Is Ratcliffe right to stay patient, or is Amorim's plan already on borrowed time? Let me know below.